we're celebrating Beatrice, BB, producer Bjorn's birthday. He's 12 today.
Yay.
And his better half, Luke, nice man, brought him, where is it from?
Isles.
They're voted the best cinnamon rolls in the country.
In the country. So I hear, did Fallon touch one of these, or?
I would like to explain.
Let's see it.
You can look at it, but I would like to explain.
Oh my gosh!
The knife would not cut through it.
Okay.
So like a raccoon in the trash can, I did eat just the center.
It looks like a tiger shark after a scuba diver.
Listen, that is how I felt while eating it, to be fair.
That is the best part.
It is, but I did feel guilt, and I kept explaining, and now I can't explain anymore. I can just send apologies.
Well, before you bite something else, you better roll the open.
Roll the open.
Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Yeah, let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Now, here's Jason.
Wow. It is good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little while, audience. That's right. Let's get started. First up today. Oh, come back to the TV. You have to see this. We've been laughing about this all day. It's being called one of the most awkward proposals ever captured by man. And it's making the rounds. It's making the rounds on social media this week. Oh, look at this.
I was gonna have the top set up and do a whole thing. Do what? Do like a court. Oh, okay.
Victoria's face bra. So yeah, will you marry me?
I will.
Oh my. She's acting like he just took her to Six Flags or something. You saw the girlfriend brush away her future hubby's hand while he's trying to pop the question. Eventually he asked, and she just casually turned around and was like, yeah, I'll go to Applebee's. That was it. Can you imagine? No, there would be no wedding. I say yes to her every day. Give it up for Fallon every day, buddy. Hi, friend.
Hi. Not just that. Not a single person around them was excited either. Did you notice that? Everyone else was like...
I didn't even notice. You're right.
No one was happy.
None of her kinfolk were excited.
Not a single person, including the bride-to-be. No one cared.
She literally was like, yeah, I'll go to Applebee's. I mean, it was like...
She'd be more excited for Applebee's than that, I think, so...
We've told a version of this will be quick. I had not a similar thing, but Colin was irritated when I asked him because we were in front of the Bellagio fountains, and I knew I was going to ask him there, but I wanted, you know how they play music? Well, I wanted a good song to come on, and we're standing in an area because I lied and go, oh, I want my mom to see the fountains because my mom was there, and he goes, why are we standing here? And I'm like, oh, God, I want to kill you. And I'm like, but we're standing here, and he's like, Are we going to move or are we just going to stand here? And I'm like, oh, please, just a semi-decent song. At this point, I didn't care if Whitesnake came on. I just wanted, it could have been the Oak Ridge Boys. And I just wanted, so finally Faith Hill's This Kiss came on.
Okay.
So I got down and he's looking over here complaining about something and he turns around and he goes, he looked like a flight attendant on a you know, and I said, will you marry? He goes, and then, yeah, he was stunned, but I'm like, oh God, he's just complaining, you know, yeah.
I hear that happens like a lot.
Happens, it didn't happen with you, right?
No, it didn't. No, Jake he did it in our living room. It was very sweet. He had like a book drawn, like he took photos of us and had an artist draw photos and he wrote a story. And then we went through, yeah, so I read the story and then at the end he proposed. And yeah, so he put a lot of work. It was very sweet. So I have a little memento of the book with the photos, yeah.
Jake wins again.
It's very cute, yeah.
It's very cute. Let's get started, everybody. It's time for the hot dish. Roll it, Leo. Let's do this. Hot topics served in a casserole dish. First up, it's been more than 30 years since the late night wars between Jay Leno and David Letterman, but stories still making headlines. This is so great. Let me back up to fill in the blanks here. In 1992, Leno was a fill-in for Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Letterman, meanwhile, during this period, hosted the popular 11:30 show after Johnny, or if you're on the West Coast, the 12:30 show, or on the East Coast. Many people were shocked back in the day when Leno got Johnny's job, or I should say The Tonight Show, over Letterman, because anyway, well, in a new interview, Leno says the accusation that he stole The Tonight Show from his friend is false.
You stole Letterman's show. First of all, Letterman never had the show. Letterman was a huge success at 12:30, huge. And NBC realized if they move him down to 11:30, they lose the 12:30 spot. I was guest hosting for 5 years before I got the show. People think, oh, I got the show and I just took it away from Dave. Dave never had the show. Johnny preferred Dave, but NBC wanted to keep Dave where he was. That was a huge success. I was matching Carson's numbers, so that was a success. So he had two real successes right here at the same time. They're not going to not going to get rid of this, because if they move him down, then I go to CBS or somewhere else, and that's what would have happened.
Jay says his biggest regret. Jay says the biggest regret is that The Tonight Show came between their friendship, because Leno was a frequent guest on Letterman's late night. They were buds. I mean, they came up in the comedy clubs together in the 70s along with Robin Williams. Look, everyone that watches me knows I love Jay. I've met him several times. I sat at a really weird dinner table with him one time, with him and then Gene Simmons and then former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. Get me drunk and I'll tell you that story. But yeah, but anyway, I'm a Letterman guy, but Leno is right on that. He's right on the details. And even I think Dave at this point would say that. Johnny preferred Dave. NBC preferred Leno because Leno had the comedy that Johnny had, which means he appealed to middle America. Dave was more sardonic, more a smart aleck, and NBC, like they got worried about Conan years later, they were worried about Letterman's broad appeal. So they did make the right choice there.
Well, I mean, but I also understand why Dave didn't like him. Because just because NBC liked him at that late night spot, obviously Dave probably, his dream was to go to the better time slot. So he probably felt very betrayed by a friend and by his network. So I would understand Dave's feeling very much.
There is, because absolutely. From a TV industry point of view, Letterman's right. He put in the work. He gave NBC 10 years of late night. There's a succession, you know, and Dave's like, wait a minute, I've given NBC 10 years, I've given you a great show. People move up in the ranks like at a company. Anyway, Leno says he still hopes they can reunite and be friends. He did share an awkward story about dropping by Dave's house one day a few years ago. Listen to this.
I remember once Will Schreiner, another comedian, riding a motorcycle. Hey, let's stop in Malibu and see Letterman. We'll just surprise him at his house. It was the most awkward day. It's like, huh? Oh, yeah, come on in. And we're like, oh, this is a mistake.
Really?
It was just so awkward. So, you want a glass of orange juice? No, I'm okay. Yeah, we got to get going. Okay, it was just so awkward. It's just so, because you have nothing else in common other than comedy, really.
After that, Jay says, at this point, Dave has to be the one to instigate another reunion. As a fan of both of these gentlemen, Dave has that Netflix show. I really hope for a day before, and I don't mean to be morbid, before we lose both of them, I really hope it would be a TV event if they could sit down together and do a wonderful interview. I really hope that. I wish for that as a fan of both of them.
Absolutely.
Up next, speaking of that era, up next in the dish, the man behind Pee Wee Herman is what we're talking about. We're getting our first look at a new documentary about the rise and fall of comedian Paul Reubens, better known as Pee Wee Herman. It's a new documentary from HBO. It hits next month. Here's a little bit of a preview.
Out of nowhere, Pee Wee Herman popped out of me. The audience ate it up and went crazy.
When I first saw Paul as Pee Wee, I was like, who is this little man in this bow tie, and why is he throwing Tootsie Rolls at people?
Hollywood had taken notice. I mean, how could they not?
I remember thinking, this is going to be really big.
There wasn't like a moment in the 80s that wasn't super cool to be me. And then dark music. Bum, 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 bum. I lost control of my anonymity, and it was devastating.
The two-part film shows the rise of Pee Wee Herman in the 80s before Paul was arrested for indecent exposure in 1991. You know what's sad about that, audience? We're living in an era now that nowadays that would only propel his career. Anyway, just saying. He also documents his personal life for the first time, coming out as gay. Sadly, Paul died back in 2023 from cancer. It airs May 23rd. I am older than you. I grew up in this era. I proudly had a Pee Wee Herman birthday cake one year. I loved Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I'm the sweet spot of this. He was everywhere. I mean, Paul isn't wrong. The 80s partially belonged to him in the zeitgeist of pop culture.
I mean, I know Pee Wee Herman. It was a little down before my time, but I remember watching Pee Wee's Big Adventure, absolutely.
It's such a great movie. There's no basement in Alamo.
Yes. Like, do we need to go watch it again?
Oh, it holds up.
Okay.
Oh, let me watch it with Olive. Yeah. Olive and I'll. Auntie Jason will educate her on Pee Wee.
She'll ask so many questions.
That's fine.
You'll be like, shh,
I'm used to Olive's questions after this week. That's right.
True.
More dish when we come back. Back in a moment, everybody. What's that? Why are they at the Alamo?
Let's make it
If you're a parent, odds are you've had moments where your kids think you're not cool. Maybe it's happening to you right now. Ben Affleck had that moment when he tried showing his 3 kids one of his big movies from the 90s. Here he is telling that story to Kimmel.
You've done a lot of movies before they were born. Have you had a situation where you sat all the kids down and said, oh, well, I want you to watch this movie I was in?
I didn't lay it out quite that, you know, I knew even then to be a little more careful. But during COVID, all the kids were around the house, and I was like, hey, let's watch a movie. And I thought, oh, maybe the kids will like Armageddon, you know, because that's... and almost immediately, it was like, what? This is so stupid. Are you kidding me? And like, my son was like, you know, he said, this doesn't make sense. I was like, this is not a logic-based film. That is not one of the criteria we used making this.
By the way, If you're noticing a lot of Ben Affleck, it's because he's out promoting his new movie, The Accountant 2, opening on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, he has been doing a lot of press runs. I prefer the like sneaky press where he looks miserable holding a Dunkin' cup.
Yeah.
That's what I prefer. That's my favorite Ben Affleck.
Let me just compliment you. If you were my mom, I would think you were cool because you have cool jobs. Does Dylan think you're cool?
No.
Olive, I'm very clear of where she stands with you, but yeah.
No, Dylan puts me in my place. He works at like a coffee shop. And
he's how old? Tell the people.
He's 17.
Yeah.
And I have a code there, like you get like a percentage off if you say my name, but there are other influencers who have this as well. And he'll be like, no one used your code today, but everyone used Brooklyn's or whoever it is. And I'll be like, ah. But guess what? He now is into photography and asked me to share his photography page. So I was like, oh, looks like you think I'm pretty cool now, Dylan. We give each other a hard time. He's very fun. I love Dylan.
Next up, new concerns about Justin Bieber following his appearance at the Coachella Music Fest. It's one of the big topics our buddy Dax Holt discusses in the latest episode of his podcast, Hollywood Raw. Audience, give it up for Dax. Hi, buddy.
Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone.
What's the latest? I admit I did not see this. What's going on with the Biebs?
Yeah, there was a video that had come out from Coachella weekend where Justin was there at a party and he was enjoying some DJ music, and you see the crowd. He's there in the crowd, and this video is of him. He's shirtless, slunched over, and just kind of bobbing, and everyone's like, "What is happening?" I've seen a lot of videos of Justin Bieber over the years. I've covered Justin Bieber for the last, I don't know, 20 years, I feel like at this point. This one actually had me concerned as well. He does not look like he is in a good state. I will say, you know, Coachella, people do various things at Coachella, so I can't say too much there. However, this one, the people that were surrounding him, I started to wonder, does he have the best group of friends at this point in his life? Are these people that are just leeching onto him? Who's around? Who's protecting him? I will say there was one moment that I felt better, which he was walking out and Haley was there. And I said, okay, at least his wife is there, making sure that there is someone that cares about him within the picture. But these videos that were circulating all over online, a lot of people saying, what's Justin Bieber up to? What's he on? What's going on? Because he just doesn't seem like he's in a good, healthy state right now.
And Dax, Fallon was filling us in our meeting today, and give us kind of the Reader's Digest version. His business, well, now former business partner factors into this. He's concerned, right?
There's a lot of people that are concerned, but, you know, he's got the Drew House fashion line that is now he is having a falling out with them. Scooter Braun is a part of that. His pastor, Judah, is a part of that. Ryan, who was his best man in his wedding, was also on the board of this, and they're all kind of disbanding, and he has not talked to his best friend Ryan for quite some time. A lot of them are pointing to this pastor that's in his life, saying this guy seems a little cultish. We don't know what's going on. He seems to be kind of getting in Justin's head, and it is really kind of pulling things apart. So Justin has now started up his own fashion line, and it's not looking good. So when your core group of people is all starting to fall apart, I think that's why people are concerned about him.
Let's lighten up before we say goodbye. America's new famous favorite couple,
Billy Ray Cyrus
and Elizabeth Hurley. Is this
isn't this weird? What happened?
Are we being punked?
I did not see this coming. This was not on my celebrity bingo card. It was so weird to see them on Easter putting up a social media post of the two of them together. I mean, okay. This honestly sparked such a fun conversation on the podcast, though, because we dove into all of the weirdest celebrity relationships that we could remember, going back to like Tom Cruise and Cher. You know, and then Flava Flav and Brigitte Nielsen and Marilyn Manson and Evan Rachel. I mean, we started getting into some of the craziest relationships, and this one, I think, falls on that list.
Billy Ray Cyrus needs some, like, VO5. That's all. When I look at that picture of them kissing, I love love. I love Elizabeth Hurley. But I just want him to get a hot oil treatment. His hair...
But then if he came out with like silky smooth hair, would you be like, that doesn't look very Billy?
Yeah, I mean, take it from me. This is my people's work. I mean, we know hair. Dax, thank you, buddy. Subscribe to the Hollywood Raw podcast for more, wherever you get your podcast. It's a weird couple, Fallon.
Very weird. It almost feels like a PR stunt.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. More Dish now. Let's talk movies, shall we? We've seen movies based on toys and games. You know, Barbie. We've had a couple Jumanjis. But how about a movie based on a toy store? It's happening. Here's the headline from Variety. Toys R Us live-action movie in the works.
No.
Asteroid soon to follow.
Okay, but don't we already have Toy Story?
Yeah, because that's, the movie's in early development now. So here's what we know, and we don't know a lot. Like Fallon just said, it's going to be similar to a couple movies, like Night at the Museum, with the toy store setting for the story. A release, a PR thing, says the movie will capture the spirit of adventure and nostalgia that Toys R Us represented to people like me.
Will Jeffrey be a part of it? I did love, thank you, Jeffrey, the giraffe, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best, I'll give them, they have one of the best, like, jingles of all time.
One of the best ad jingles ever. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
There's a million toys of Toys R Us that I can play with, from bikes to trains and video games. It's the biggest toy store there is. Gee whiz! I don't want to grow up, baby, if I did, I wouldn't be a Toys R Us kid.
More games, more toys. Oh boy, I want to be a Toys R Us kid. There we go.
God. You can tell our parents let the TV babysit us.
That's right. And you can tell I was an only child. Yeah. But please, Hollywood, get an original idea for the love of Peter, Paul, and Mary. I'm just saying. Sticking with movies, next in the dish, Fallon got a chance to see a dark comedy. Coming to Amazon Prime in a few weeks. It's called Another Simple Favor. It's a sequel. Let's look at the preview.
What did she say to convince you to come to this farce?
Fratricide, identity fraud, just girlfriend stuff.
I have a surprise. Your own true family. You probably don't remember me. It's your Auntie Linda.
You brought gift assistant to our wedding? She's an insurance policy. Just I won't tell you both.
Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively star in the movie about two friends who reunite in Italy for a wedding where someone gets killed. It's a sequel to the 2018 movie called A Simple Favor, thus the title of this, Another Simple Favor.
Okay.
Take it away there, Siskel.
We didn't need another simple favor. So I liked the first movie a lot. I love the soundtrack. I liked the dark comedy of it. I like Anna Kendrick. I do like Blake Lively. I know a lot of people are on the fence about her right now. So it's not based on that. The movie was too long. I feel like they could have trimmed like 45 minutes out of it.
45?
Not kidding.
How long is it? Is it the Thornbirds?
It's like, I think it's like an hour 41.
Two people know what the Thornbirds is. Thank you. Yeah.
It's like an hour and 40-ish minutes, I think. But it just was too long, and it takes twisty turns like the first one did, but it was unnecessary. The turns it took at the end, very unnecessary. Anna Kendrick is still the best part of it. She's very funny throughout. The one thing I'll say is it's free on Amazon on May 1st, so you can watch it and not have to go spend money. So that's nice. But I was like, I just didn't need it.
Is the movie going to do anything to help repair Blake's image?
No, because it's funny because she in that movie she plays like kind of the villain mean girl anyway, and I'm like, well, that's just every comment's gonna be like, oh, she played herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that's what they're gonna say.
And would I like this?
You might like the first one. I don't know who will like
Anna
the second
Kendrick.
one. Yeah, she's very good, and like you saw the cast, it's a great cast.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just didn't need it.
I don't think I'll watch either.
Again, free though, so you can just watch it on your couch. So that's good.
I mean, this show is free too. I mean, just saying, yeah. A very special guest when we come back. Back in a moment, everybody.
Are those the reviews?
Yeah. I mean, it's free. You loved loved her on Happy Days. You loved her in Matlock. And she is an amazing actress and singer. Linda Purl is my special guest today as she tours the country with her amazing show. And I'm also going to talk about her love, because I love him. Bobby Ewing himself, Patrick Duffy. Linda Purl when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. You know our guest today from classic shows like Happy Days, Matlock, The Office, you name a show, she's been in it. Linda Purl has had an incredible career spanning critically acclaimed TV and film. She also has a passion for live music and is taking her talents to the stage. Look at this. That's right. She's had an amazing career, and she's not done yet. Audience, give it up for Linda Purl. I'm a hugger. Welcome. Can I start with a compliment? You smell really nice.
Well, that's a relief. Okay.
You smell beautiful.
Thank you, darling. You do too.
Thank you. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm thrilled that you're here. Where did your love of music, I always say this when I ask people's origin of their love. My love of this came from Johnny and came from Merv Griffin. Where did your love of music come from?
Well, I grew up in Japan. My folks were in business over there. And at that time, which was a long time ago, there wasn't really television and stuff, but there was, so the way that they stayed in touch with America was through music. And our turntable was very, very active, and it had all the great Broadway musicals and a lot of the jazz singers of the time. So it was Tony Bennett and Rosemary Clooney and Anita O'Day and the Japanese people. Well, it's a culture-centric society, and there was a tremendous curiosity about all things American, and particularly jazz. And so Helen Merrill lived there for a long time. Anita O'Day came in. A lot of these people came out, and they would perform in clubs. So a lot of them came to the house because there wasn't that much to do.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of in the atmosphere.
In and around.
Yeah. And how can you listen to those people and not fall in love with them?
And isn't it fascinating, whether it's a television show or music, pop culture is like an entry point for other cultures to learn about our culture.
Absolutely.
You hear that all the time. People learn English via friends.
Yeah.
And you know, my radio co-host Alexis lived in Okinawa.
Oh, wow.
They watched MASH, you know, and it was like, and
Sure,
yeah,
sure,
so
yeah.
it's in music, the same thing. Is there a period of music that you are particularly fond of?
Well, I would say probably from the 30s through maybe the late 50s. Part of it, because I'm primarily an actress, but I do love to sing. And the thing with the Great American Songbook is that they're stories. They're like one-act plays. So it's very akin to, I can't sing a pop song to save my life, but you know, the sort of the great writers, the Harold Arlens and the Berlins and all those people.
And you've been all around, correct me if I'm wrong, the show, all around the world with the show, or at least all around the country. What is it like trying to curate this show? Picking, I mean, there are so many to choose from. How do you do that?
Oh, that's a great question. It's a fun process. I get together with my music director, Ted Firth, who'll be performing here Saturday night in Minneapolis, and a really smarty pants girlfriend who basically carries the American Songbook in her brain. And so I will
You always
come up
need one
with
of those.
You do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you always,
It pays to have those kinds of friends, and so I'll have a theme of something that I want to. Not that the audience would even ultimately know what the theme is, but sort of a focal point of a kind of journey that we want to take, and we sit down with about 100 songs between us, and we just start to play. And we toss one out, but then that makes us think of another one, and very eventually you come down to a list of about 20 songs that then gets boiled down to 15, and that's the show. And so, and there needs to be variety in it in terms of, a torch song always in there somewhere, something sort of, uplifting, a few of those, and a couple of surprises. And
we have on this topic, we have a mutual friend, the great Billy Stritch.
Oh, gosh.
And Billy was here performing, and Billy was sitting on, and we went out to dinner, and I said, what is it like? Because I watch audiences at his shows, whether it's the touring or at Birdland, I watch, and it's a cross-section, and it's a lot of youngins. And I said, what is that like for you to introduce the magic of live music to an audience? And he said, there's nothing better. So I pose that to you. I imagine when you look out and you see multi-generational audiences, it's a gift.
Oh, it is. It's so much. And also in different countries.
Yeah.
Too. That's fun. And cabaret is, I mean, it's not like doing film, obviously, or even theater, because you speak directly, you sing directly to the audience. And so they're part of the experience, how you react brings things alive or sends you in a different direction or inspires you. So it's a very communal experience.
Not that you didn't, and we'll talk about acting coming up. Did you miss music when there was primarily focused on acting? Did you miss it in the back of your mind?
Hugely.
Yeah.
Hugely. Once I moved to Los Angeles, there just wasn't the opportunity for that. And I grew up doing musicals, and I had a recording contract for a few years in Japan, and suddenly there was no music in my life. And I really, really did. I missed it enormously. During the AIDS epidemic in the 70s, there were lots of fundraisers. And so I got pulled into those. And for about 13 years, I got to be a part of doing those, and everybody would do 2 or 3 songs. We'd get up, you'd wear a fancy dress, and people paid too much money, and all of that would go to support people with AIDS. And so
it was a way to do music at the same time.
It was.
Hold that thought. When we come back, more about Linda's amazing career. And you name a show, she's been in it. We'll talk about that when we come back. Back in a moment, everybody. Thank you for being here. Linda Purl is our special guest. Follow Linda on social. Find out where she's performing. Go see her. If you're watching us locally, not our stations around the country, but she'll be performing this weekend. I'll give you information about that at the great club, Crooners. Let's talk about your TV career, because our audience coordinator, Aaron Schwab, who is the Bette Midler of the Twin Cities, who performs at Crooners as well.
Wow. Okay.
In the break, Aaron Googled you, and I was laughing. I'm like, what is Aaron doing over there? And she's literally going like this with your IMDb. Okay, I love that show. Okay, I love that show. Oh, I love that show she was in. Okay, I love that show she was in. Yeah. So I'm going to go through a few, and you just tell me what rises to the surface, because I would imagine you have some of the best damn stories. Because what a sweet spot of television you were involved. We were talking with the audience about that. When you think of your time on Happy Days, whether it's working with the great Gary Marshall, Ron Howard, Henry Winkler, what percolates? Oh gosh. Well, I just got to do a play in Los Angeles that was directed by Anson Williams, and his wife wrote the play. And the first few days of rehearsal, I don't think we got anything done because we just sat there reminiscing. But could we have possibly, get puddly thinking, we possibly imagine when we met 51 years ago that all these years later we would be working together. And opening night, Donnie Most was there, and Anson was Potsy, everybody, if you don't know. Yeah. And several of the direct and the writers came to, and we talk about Gary Marshall. I mean, he was an extraordinary man. We didn't know it at the time, but he gave us such life lessons in his composure and how he
how he ran that set. It was really a family, and it's a testament to Gary that these friendships exist all these decades later.
And you have the distinction, our executive producer asked you in the commercial, Linda was on Happy Days twice, 2 different characters, right? Yeah. You were both Richie Cunningham's girlfriend and the Fonz's girlfriend. I think that's a record. Linda, I think that's history right there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so the show was originally supposed to be Ron's show, and then the character of Fonzie really took off, and Ron thought, you know, maybe he would try his hand at directing. I wonder if that ever worked out for him. And so he left the show, which meant that all the ancillary characters, one of which was myself, I played his girlfriend, we were out of a job. They had no need for him. And fade out, fade in. Then years later, there was a casting notice that came out. They were looking for Fonzie's fiance, and they wanted a Linda Purl type. So we, kid you not,
that's
I should have framed it, yeah. So we called and said, well, can I audition for this? Do you mind? And they said, well, all right, if you must. So I auditioned along with hundreds of others, and Gary, bless his heart, said, okay, you can come back as a different character. So I got to really go home again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk before we have to break. Jeff, am I good? I want to, yeah. Let's talk Matlock.
Oh,
because TV is so cyclical. Is it weird that, oh, there you are, the publicity photo with the great Andy Griffith. What percolates there, Linda? What do you think of?
The shoulder pads. What were we thinking? We could either,
you look great, though, Linda. Look at that.
Thank you. Well, I thought, you know, it's so I was dating my father's son. I mean, it's all gets very incestuous because it was, and I asked Ron what it was like to work with Andy. Of course, he had wonderful things to say. Andy was a very fascinating person. He was brilliantly talented, as we know. I didn't imagine that he would be a white-hot intellect. He was. And he...
So I was going to ask you what surprised you the most about him.
Yeah, I think that was it. He was a very serious person. He had layers and layers of depth to him. I would say, like many comics, he could have a sort of a dark side also. He'd be the first to say so. And I think my only sorrow with Andy is that we didn't see his King Lear. We didn't see his Willy Loman. We did see one aspect of what he had to deliver as an actor, but he had so many other facets, and we didn't get to see that.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's a great place to break on, because I can't top that. More with Linda Purl when we return. Back in a moment. That is extraordinary. You're right. He never really left that type of... Back with the great Linda Purl. Don't forget dates, showtimes, everything. Follow Linda on social. If you're watching us locally, Crooners this weekend, get tickets. More information a little bit later. Okay, Linda, I was a professional. I waited until the last segment to nerd out on you.
I'm scared.
I've interviewed you via Zoom a few times, and I think I scared you one time. I know that you love Patrick. I think I love Patrick as much as you do. The audience knows there is no bigger Dallas. I don't care what anybody says. All of you out there that think you are, there's no bigger Dallas fan than I am.
Right.
I'm not joking. I have a framed, I showed you this in a Zoom interview one time, and the look on your face was like, oh my God. I have a publicity still that I got from Warner Brothers of Patrick in the shower. From the It's All Been a Street, and I had that in my bathroom.
Okay.
I had that in my bathroom, and so every day when I would shower, I would look at Patrick.
Right.
And
I've had that experience too.
Touche, Linda.
Okay. Just saying.
If people don't know, I don't want to run out of time. I want to shut my mouth. If people don't know, your love story, it's been covered by people. There's probably like 12 people that don't know, but it's such an extraordinary story. Can you give us the TV version of it, my friend?
Acquaintances for 45 years because we just sort of passed in the halls. And then a little before COVID, we bumped into each other, and he had lost touch with Richard Thomas. They'd done a play together. I was living in New York near Richard, so Patrick gave me his cell phone I think innocently, just to say, put me in touch with Richard. So then the three of us were in sort of text, Happy Christmas, Happy Easter, or whatever. And then COVID hit. And we started, Patrick and I and Richard, we started doing sort of Zooms together, and then Richard kind of fell out, and Patrick and I continued. We Zoomed every night because there was nothing else to do, God knows, for 2 to 3 hours for a couple of months. And then at some point it was, oh, this might be something more than a swell friendship. And he jumped in his Prius and he drove from his house in Oregon to mine in Colorado, and that was that. I mean, go figure. But you know, it couldn't have happened outside of COVID. We never would have found that time.
The opportunity, for it to grow.
To get to know each other. Yeah. Really, it would have been, well, if you're ever in LA, we'll have a drink, maybe in 5 years. But so, as horrible as COVID was, and you know, and for so many people, I mean, there is sort of this sense of guilt that it was a real blessing for us, and believe me, there's no one more surprised than the two of us that we are where we are.
My last question, and this is the only, if that was just, you have to admit, I didn't completely nerd out with that question, but my last question, I will nerd out a little bit.
Okay.
Larry Hagman. Yeah. What was it like? You and Patrick, you were not together before Larry passed.
Correct.
But when Patrick talks about his friendship with, thank you, your face says it all. That is such an extraordinary, I could cry. I mean, I saw Larry at the junket for Dallas a couple months before he died for the reboot.
Yeah, yeah.
What an extraordinary, not entertainment industry friendship, but what an extraordinary friendship. What does Patrick say about Larry? What I mean, the bond.
They were brothers from the moment they met, and whatever, a few months later, Patrick got into Larry's car and pulled the visor down and saw a photograph there of Larry standing and his wife, Mai, standing in front of a brick wall. And Patrick said, "That's Boulder, Montana." And he said, "What do you mean? A town of 500 people. It's where Patrick's parents lived." And Larry said, "How do you know?" Well, there was a hot springs near there. Larry and Mai had been going there for years and would go to the bar, and they'd been bridge partners with Patrick's parents for years. And so Larry turned to Patrick and said, are you Babe and Terry Duffy's son? And he said, "Yes, that's my parents. That's their brick wall outside their bar." I mean, I get chills even telling it, right? So there was something in the cosmos that brought them together.
Oh, that's not on accident.
Yeah.
And they were friends until the day we lost Larry.
Yeah, Patrick was in the room when Larry passed, and you know, so it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. I mean, trouble, so much trouble. But yeah,
he was naughty. He could be. Yeah. He wasn't JR, but he had a streak.
Oh gosh, they were just mischievous little boys that loved each other to the end.
I love it. Well, it means a lot to me that you're here.
Oh,
it really, really does.
Thank you, Jason.
And I love a guest that comes to play, and you did, and I appreciate your stories. Thank you so much. Linda Purl, everybody. Follow Linda right there, CoonersInman.com if you're watching this local. For dates across the country, you can find them on Linda's socials. We'll be right back, everybody. Back in a moment. Thank you so much. What a pleasure. I'll walk you out here. Happy birthday to everyone celebrating in our birthday club, not birth club. Right. Thanks to Home Furniture, our partner. They get that sash and VIP treatment. Sign up at eventbrite.com or the Eventbrite app and come see us. You don't have to be here on your exact birthday. We give you a few days before and after. We're going to take a break. We're wrapping things up when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. You feel the same way. Again, to shine a light on my dear friend, Fallon has a hugely successful radio show, Fallon and Colt. You can find it on the iHeart app. You know, not only doing this show, but on a radio show, the guests that come to play makes your job very easy, and it's the best. There's no better feeling. And
when you have someone who just gives you one-word answers, you're like, all right. Well,
I'm going to quit and work with my plumber brother-in-law.
I know, exactly.
I'm not going to do this anymore.
No,
but that, and she was as nice and gorgeous. Like
Yes.
that. I don't look that good, and I'm 50. I mean, yeah. We're going to be off for a few days. We have some great best ofs to run for this, so don't worry. We'll be back live on Wednesday, but we have a collection of really good, especially for all of you new stations out there, episodes you haven't seen before. So that's coming up. So
also, happy early birthday to Bjorn.
Producer Bjorn.
Birthday's tomorrow. Little cutie.
That's right. Bjorn turns 14 this year. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, so we can...
He can work a full shift. No more child labor laws. Yeah.
He can throw his quinceañera next year.
That's right.
Yay.
Speaking of...
or is that 13? I might be wrong.
13.
Okay, my
Go
apologies.
out there and be yourself, because no one can tell you you're doing it wrong. Bye, everybody.
You would love a quinceañera.
Bjorn would, actually.